Yo, what's poppin'? I know your vocals ain't. I thought about that for way too long. But anyhow, in this video, I'm going to show you how to take your vocals from sounding like this to sounding like this.
Even when it don't make sense, scared to face the consequence.
Come on, bro. You know you want it. One by one step, we're gonna make this as quick as humanly possible for the impatient TikTok loving animals out there in the streets. You feel? Okay. Muting those background vocals because that's not what this is about. This is gonna be about the lead vocal. So here we go. The first thing you're gonna want to do is pitch your vocal, okay? You come up here to your plugins, pitch corrector. You don't need to have any fancy stuff. You find your key. There's lots of apps to find your key. I use one called Auto Key. I put it up to the headphone or put it up to the speaker. I get my key and I plug it into this, whatever this thing's called, and then I'm good to go, okay? Now, what's next? Let's just de-ess it. Why not? I probably need to put a de-esser on this vocal that I'm doing right now. We're just shaving the edge off. I just left it at default frequency. And it's just a safety net, dude. You want a little bit of S's to come through. It's how a human being sounds. You don't want to make them sound like a lisp.
Even when it don't make sense.
You can see it's only flashing whenever an S comes across. Let's check it again. Watch it.
Even when it don't make sense, scared to face the consequence.
Okay, that's all we have in. That's easy. That's very easy. We're just using our ears to make it sound a little bit better. Right now we're not adding anything. We're just slightly correcting things. Next, what are we going to do? EQ. I always EQ before I compress, but the beauty of this is there's no rules. Okay? Boom. What do I got here? You can use any EQ. This is the exact same thing. Exact same thing. It just doesn't look as fancy. Okay? Simple. So what is this EQ doing? I'm just dipping out some mids. Okay? Some muddy, low mids. In this vocal specifically, I heard some cheap sounding telephone vocals up in like the 2K range. Let's see what it sounds like with and without. This is without, and I'm going to engage it mid sentence or something.
Even when it don't make sense, scared to face the consequence. Spit the facts and speak the truth.
Okay, it made it really quiet because we're really carving out a lot in there. But that's okay. We're going to get back at that. You feel? We're going to bring that back out. We just wanted to tame down some of those boomy, muddy frequencies, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Okay. That's pretty standard, right? Kind of a rule. It doesn't always work because every vocal is subjective. But I always look at 500 hertz. There's always sometimes just a little boxy, nasally, just disgusting freaking frequency right there, dog. You feel? Okay. So we do that. Sounding good. What's next? We're going to compress. We're just going to squeeze those dynamics. That's it. Very simple. You can get a very simple compressor like this where there's no extra knobs and weird buttons and confusing stuff. And let's see what that's doing. We're just ducking. No more than around 6 dB of gain reduction.
Even when it don't make sense, scared to face the consequence.
The confusing part about compression is when you're engaging the threshold, it sounds like it's getting louder because they usually do like some kind of automatic makeup gain. But what you're doing is you're making the signal quieter. You're reducing the dynamic range between the low volumes and the high volumes. And then all those weird knobs like the attack and the release are just adjusting how it pushes the volume down. Just the like flavor and the technique it uses to push those down. And so it's very simple. Nothing crazy. -6. I don't see it going above that. Let's see what this big vocal boom does with it.
Can't you hear the children cry? Hold your violin.
Yeah, that's barely doing anything, dude. Barely doing anything. I just liked how it sounded. Formula. What did I do next? I just added another compressor to add some flavor. That's it. Does this let you? No. So what's cool about this compressor is it really allows you to see what's going on when you change it over to graph mode here. So you can watch this graph. So this white line up here is what it's doing to duck it. I mean, it's barely doing anything, dude. I mean, a song like this, I don't want it squashed. I want it up front and audible, but
even when it don't make sense, scared to face the consequence.
I mean, maybe we're doing 10, 11 total dB of gain reduction. You just got to feel it out. And the biggest key is just working with compressors. That's how you're going to be able to hear what compressors do. The more times you turn a knob on a compressor, that's the only way to figure it out, unfortunately. And it was the hardest thing to figure out. Okay, next. What do we do? I just added all this is a amp just at the beginning of my vocal chain. Just add some flavor. I'll engage it in the middle of a word or whatever.
Speak the truth, spit in your face and scream at you. Don't with all these selfish lies. Can't you hear the children cry? Hold your violin.
Just a little vintage flavor. Can take it or leave it. Doesn't matter. It's all opinion based. If you can't hear it doing anything, then don't add it. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple. That's genius. I'm a genius. If you can't hear and explain what in the world you're doing with it, then delete it. It does not need to be on the chain. Simple. What's next? Reverb. This is default. I just completely default. But the key to a good reverb is carving it out and not letting nasty frequencies resonate that we took out of the vocal, and now we throw it back in with our reverb. I'm like, oh, why did it come back? It's because you didn't EQ it. It's like such an important thing to do. You gotta process your effects like you do your vocal. I only EQ them. I don't really compress reverbs or anything. Occasionally I will delay, but let's hear what this sounds like.
Blurry vision, blind leading the blind. Even when it don't make sense, scared of spit the facts and speak the truth.
Beautiful. What's next? Delay. Any delay, doesn't matter. Whatever you like, whatever sounds good. Just make sure your feedback is low enough to where it's getting out of the way before the next phrase comes in. Or if you don't want to do that and you want a high, large feedback, then put a compressor on it and side chain it to your lead vocal. Let's turn that on here with that.
Blurry vision, blind leading the blind. Even when it don't make sense, consequence. Spit the facts and speak the truth.
Very simple. That's literally it. That's the vocal. And now this is the biggest key to all of this, and this is so important, is that if you have a crappy recording, you don't get to mix. You get to correct and do obnoxious, tedious work the entire time. That's basic knowledge, dude. Like, just get a good recording. How hard is that? Take your mic in the closet. Make sure your input level is good. Like, it's nothing crazy, dude. These like terrible recordings, nobody's investing up front, and they're like, I used to do this too, and expect that the mixing engineer was responsible for making it sound decent. Obviously they are, but it's your job, if you don't have a recording engineer, to give them a good foundation and platform to start on. Like, come on. Background vocals. Look, the only thing I have on any of these background vocals is tuning. And all I did was sum them together. You select them all. I'll do an example here. You select them all. Then you right click, create track stack. And then you're going to create a summing stack. And then what I did is edited the summing stack. Just did some boosts, some cuts. Nothing crazy. Just brought out frequencies I liked, like reduced frequencies I didn't. Anyhow, that's how you mix a vocal. A good stand-up, upfront, lead vocal. I mean, it's simple. There's no rules to this. But there is a line where it sounds obnoxiously like bad and acceptably good. There's a point where it's so bad you can't even enjoy it. And there's a point where it's good enough to where it's not getting in the way of the music being enjoyed. Okay, anyhow. I think I'm basically done here and stuff, you dig. I'm going to peace out on the real, you know. I got some other work to do. But keep it 100, fool. You know, we out this joint. Peace.